Good morning, everybody. We're getting set up over here, so give us a couple moments and we'll get right into it. And no webcam today, so. All right, it looks like we're live. So, good morning to everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy May 6th, 2021. My name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off with our SPY, the theme remains the same. We are seeing a little bit of weakness in some of our heavy growth sectors, such as tech, and that's leading to a little bit of consolidation and struggle for the bulls as the SPY is trying to hold the 20-day moving average. We see that the reaction off of the 20 was significant in Tuesday's session, but yesterday we really didn't have a ton of follow through. And what I find worth watching on the SPY is that we're sitting right around where we consolidated before we had the big drop. So as we dig into lower time frames, we see that not only did the SPY react strongly on the bounce, which showed the indication that maybe dip buying bulls were strong, but also that the shorts were sort of a shorter time frame. They weren't willing to hold the short position and were actually willing to cover into that momentum, that one-day drop that we saw. Now, as the SPY is holding here, we see that we're barely back above where we fell from, and we're trying to essentially recover this upper value range. We have not done so yet, but I would say that due to the size of the bounce, I am looking to see this to start to consolidate and then ultimately allow for this to form a new range, at which point we can easily define a new structure and allow for that structure to break bullish or bearish, ultimately changing the short-term downtrend or just leading to continuation if the bulls are not strong enough at these levels. We can see on the shorter time frame as well that we are seeing lower highs overall. So the bulls are attempting to change this trend in the short time frame, and that would ultimately put the potential for the daily uptrend back into play. But at this point, the burden is on the bulls to prove it to us and to get back into sort of a general trending perspective. As we look at our 1 hour chart, we see that value is still sitting above us. Price reacted away from value on the drop, and then we saw the significant pullback to value, which at this time is roughly 417 in the 30-day 1 hour chart of the SPY. Once again, as we are sitting near VPOC, we want to see, does this range need to consolidate further as we did for multiple intraday sessions in the past? Or are we simply going to backtest this area and continue the trend to the downside, at which point we would like to see this range break once again? And then finally, if the bulls are strong enough and this was simply a liquidation break, sort of a short-term removal of some of the down, I would say the lower price supply, trying to essentially remove that resistance from the upside. If that's true, then we should see this range break pretty bullish, and that would potentially lead to stop outs for people sitting at all-time highs. So we do have three scenarios in play. As we are at VPOC, it's sort of a wait and see type of game because we are at one of the more critical areas inside of the volume profile, and therefore the directionality can be in pretty much any direction. We simply need to wait and see which one will trigger, and does that trigger have enough ignition to the direction that is chosen. One thing to note, the longer we do spend at VPOC, and we can see that just on the daily, let's just bring it back to this perspective. The longer we sit near these levels, the more general risk that the market is building in this area. And the idea is simply that as market participants are fighting back and forth, we get longs and shorts positioning. Market is essentially building energy in this area. The longer we stay here, the more likely that the breakaway will be met with a strong trend in the direction that is chosen. This idea is simply price compression. And the idea is that, as value is built, the move away from value can be quite powerful. However, moving from value is challenging. It takes a long time the longer the market spends in balance. So the opportunity is there for us to define, but ultimately it's going to be worth watching to see how this market wants to react, and if that break away from value is strong enough to actually lead to continuation. What we have right now is the potential that we stated value, we tried to break out and we failed, and now we tried to break down and we failed. So we continue to stay here, but you can see how these efforts to get away from this area are met with a return to value. Markets like to be in balance as opposed to be in expansion mode. As we shift over to the Qs, the scenario changes slightly. We do see that the Qs did not react as strongly as the SPY. The Qs are unable at this time to return to these upper value zones. And what we saw yesterday, what could be conceived as simply a back test of what was previous support, as marked by the two horizontal lines on the chart. That was met with resistance, and it acted as previous support. When we get into our 4-hour time frame, we see that the reaction from Tuesday's low was significant. I would say that this is a decent showing of the bulls to essentially bounce the market from the low to the next lower high. But once again, we see this back test. We see that we cannot get back above into these upper ranges. And so far, this is acting as resistance. Now, one thing I do like to do in times of volatility, because we do have a larger range to analyze. That did not come out correctly. Sorry about that. Having trouble with this tool. It's acting differently than when I practiced with it. No, that's not right. Interesting. Okay, so that should be good enough. So the idea here is that I'm trying to see the how far did that retracement go whenever we hit this low point in the Qs. And the concept here is fairly simple. The deeper the retracement, the more likely that the market will consolidate, and potentially, if the retracement is strong enough, that downside or upside move was actually not significant, and it is likely to continue the trend in the opposite direction. So for example, what we saw was this down move in the Qs. We saw a 50% pullback as marked by this Fibonacci retracement tool. And with a 50% pullback, it is probabilistically likely for the market to consolidate within the 50% area and roughly the 23.6 area. The idea here is that we start to build equilibrium, as the bulls did have a strong showing at the lows, and that was strong enough to get us back 50% of the way from the drop. In the case where the retracement is shallow, for example, the 38.2, this could lead to the probability of maybe a bear flag in this scenario, as the bulls were not strong enough to hold for a significant retracement, and that can lead to downside continuation, as shorts are essentially confident that they will not be met with additional bullish strength. And then down the line, if we get to 61.8, usually this can show sort of that lower high, that higher low starting to build, and then the trend change can occur quite quickly as the retracement is even stronger than just a 50% pullback. So this is something that you can start to bring into your analysis as we are looking at more volatile sessions. We're getting nice range expansion in these markets, and we can see just how strong is the recovery during times of volatility. That can allow you to at least stay, cognizant of whether the bulls are buying these dips or whether the shorts are covering quickly on just a 1 day or a couple day sort of downside momentum. If they are not, that momentum can continue, and it can be met with even stronger selling if they were to break those lows. But otherwise, the market tends to consolidate, and then that range can be defined, and we can use a break of that range to get a sense of direction. So as we dig down finally into our volume profile for the Qs, we see that this market is essentially consolidating below the value range. VPOC is sitting way above us, as this market has not recovered. Actually, I apologize for that, I chose the wrong time frame. But the picture is essentially the same. We see that VPOC is sitting way above us. This market was not able to recover back to VPOC. And while we are sitting here and starting to form price compression in the form of a value shelf in the volume profile, ultimately this compression can go either way. We do see that the momentum at the moment is to the downside. So at the moment, the bears have the advantage, but the bulls did put in a 50% retracement. So we will allow this to tighten and define itself with a breakout. That will at least give us a sense of where can we target things like VPOC. What do we have to worry about? Things like previous support turn resistance marked by these lines. And then ultimately, where can the bears go in the form of the deeper support zones? That's going to be roughly this 325 to 324 area. And that was seen in the past with, let me clear that out. That was seen in the past with this volatile action that we saw, and this sort of horizontal resistance that it was met with over time. So Qs, we're staying essentially aware of where they are. We're seeing how they reacted. They are very different than the SPY. And overall, the Qs are looking sort of the weakest across the board. Okay. And then finally, IWM. Overall structure here is once again still very challenging to determine directionality. We have this pull down after an attempted breakout. We can see that this is so far just being met with lower highs and lower lows in the short term. And the level that we're all watching is sort of the previous swing low into this swing high. Now, as we were starting to pull back, we are getting to this potential trend line support. and that's also going to be the back test of this downtrend structure that we did break out from. We would expect this market to react as we come into this area. If it does not, we know that this structure is not technically in play, and we would look for essentially the next area, which is going to be these lower swing lows, and even the deepest swing lows, which is a very strong support structure, but also puts this market at risk for a downside drop if we were to eventually lose that area. So structure here is more of a fade at this time. We're seeing it slowly come back to these areas. And overall, we're going to be watching this in the next couple of sessions to see, one, do we get here? And two, how do we react? And then finally, with volume profile, we see that once again, VPOC, we're sitting right smack dab at it. And ultimately, we want this market to move away from value, but it simply cannot. It keeps getting drawn back to it, and that range expansion keeps getting met with sort of a fade back to value. Now, one area that we do not look at very often, but is offering a different look at the market, is going to be the Dow. And what I have here is the Diamond ETF marked with DIA ticker. And what we can see is that throughout all of this volatility throughout the past week, the diamonds have not only been holding up well, but we saw a very strong showing on Wednesday's session with volume. Or I keep saying Wednesday, I'm sorry, Tuesday's session. Now, at this point, the diamonds are looking to try and break this range. And we saw that yesterday. They were met with a bit of selling. So ultimately, we haven't quite cleared this area yet. But I would say on any bullishness in this market, so long as the major sectors that comprise the diamonds are holding in or being strong, this can be an area for trend continuation. I think overall the burden here is on the bears, because so far we have not lost any of this price consolidation, and so far it does look as if the range is trying to expand. So we will see if that is met with volume in today or Friday's session. We'd love to see just a nice confirmation candle, something that's very clear of either a reaction on a pullback or some sort of gap up structure that leads to trend continuation. Either way, we're trying to get out of this range. And if we look down deeper, we see that value is likely going to be somewhere in the middle of this range, as price has sat here for quite a while. So just like every other market, market is in balance and it is trying to go out of balance, which provides advantage for us as traders because we get directionality. Now, as we look across these different indices, we continue to look at our sectors and say, has anything really changed? Yesterday, we talked about things like energy, and you'll see there's a little bit of a visual bug at the moment. I'm getting some of my candles with a weird shadow structure inside of the candle itself. But overall, we saw that energy had a strong showing yesterday. Very nice trend day in energy. We're seeing things like industrials make new highs, albeit slightly pulled down throughout yesterday's session. Where is healthcare? Healthcare met with resistance, actual pull down, or no, sorry, wrong sector again. Healthcare, nice reaction, nice sort of V bottom structure. I would say we're threatening the potential of a double top, but we do have a little bit more upside potential left. And this has been met with some strong volume. So overall, I would expect this to continue and at least test this all-time high. And then some of our other sectors that we've been calling out as strong sectors getting stronger, things like metals, 3 decent trending up days in a row met with high volume. And materials, once again, that visual bug there, but not only making a new high, but a new all-time high. You can see just how strong this sector has been over time. Obviously, there is the risk of overextension in most of these areas, but that has been true of various sectors across the board. So in the short term, definitely looking for this as opportunity and potential for sort of a swing trade mindset for breakouts. And then finally, things like the financial sector, once again, making a new all-time high and overall keeping the SPY healthy amidst some of the selling that we're seeing in technology and consumer discretionaries. You can see with things like XOK, very similar to the Qs, trying to tighten this range, but seeing a lot of intraday selling and just a lack of follow through. Discretionaries met with resistance at the 20 moving average, decent follow through on the bounce, but overall that is being sold into at this time. And then communications, yes, being met with selling, but I would say holding up better, still trying to hold the 20. And technically some of our strongest names with regards to the past earnings season. We do have things like Facebook and Google making new all-time highs and seeing a bit of a pullback overall with the general QQQ market, but there is potential for this to be bought as we are simply coming back down to support zones. We will be watching this closely to see if there are any red flags, as so far Google has pulled back to the 20. We haven't seen the follow through yet, but we also haven't seen the breakdown. And same thing with Facebook. I would say that one's still trying to ultimately close the gap on earnings. We do have this clear earnings gap up, and it's being sold into, but buyers may be waiting here for their opportunity to catch this knife. So as we get into today, we have our game plan of certain sectors have been holding. We're seeing strength in things like the diamonds. I'll bring up that chart as well. And for things like the diamonds, you can also look at some of the smaller sectors just for a general sense of where money is flowing. And we have things like home builders still making their nice upward trend. And this is a new one, U.S. home construction, ITB, also very strong uptrend. And does appear to be all-time highs, yes, at least in the lifetime of this ETF. We can see just how strong this push has been over time. So there certainly is a willingness to buy sectors. It simply, at this time, has not been tech nor consumer discretionaries. So once again, if you're sort of a perma bull type trader in your swings, in your setups, be willing to diversify your ecosystem of stocks that you're willing to trade, and that can provide some opportunity amidst sector rotation and general weakness in some of the high growth sectors that we're seeing now. Now, as we are looking to wrap up today, we were talking briefly about the pullback in things like gold and silver. And overall, the structure here was that, yes, we stayed in range. Yes, gold and silver are still trying to break this range, but we can see just how quickly that recovered over the course of this engulfing bar that occurred on, I believe, Monday's session. And when it comes to range-based trading, we simply want to give this range time to decide if it wants to break bullish or bearish, as the overall structure of this chart is that it is trying to change the trend. We know gold has been in a general decline for a significant period of time. And this turnaround play, if it is to play itself out, needs to have time to build energy and ultimately to show structure forming that daily and weekly trend change. So I guess my notes for that is be willing to look at higher time frames and allow for those structures to form, with the understanding that if we are to return to these lower ranges, that would be a warning signal that we failed to break out and are having to come back into this range to find buyers. Now that would be a problem for the structure to change the trend. I would say so far though, the advantage is still on the bears to the downside. We're simply trying to see how far can they push this up before potentially trying to change the overall trend to the upside. And that's if you believe that gold is starting to do this trend change, which is something that I do believe is occurring. And the same concept goes for silver. We can see how silver was met with some selling over the period of this week, but overall we have not lost where we came from, and we have not fallen back into this lower range. So the value perspective here is that, yes, we're trying to move away from previous value in the market, but it does take time. And a day or two of selling within a higher range is not necessarily a problem until we break down. So we're simply just not strong enough yet to get out, but it doesn't mean we're breaking down. Until that happens, we will stay optimistic to this structure, and you can see how the daily moving averages are starting to actually cross and shift into the more bullish direction. So gold and silver, along with general metals as the theme, is essentially the idea that we're trying to play here. And as long as metals remain in that uptrend, gold and silver can continue to see sort of that drift to the daily and weekly trend change. Let's see. So finally, we were talking about the dollar as just an area to keep on watch. We noted that the dollar has been weak throughout the entire period of April, and we saw a bit of an uptick and a reaction near an area of support. Wasn't perfect, but overall it did react strongly. We're sitting at a previous support turn resistance, and we are seeing reactions on the dollar, sort of a failure to get above this area. What we're also noting is that if this were to change trend, it would likely do so in some sort of head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders structure, with this support zone marked here as the neckline. So ultimately, we're seeing sellers here, which is expected since we broke down from this area. But if they're going to change the trend, it will be done on a significant breakout of this spot. So far, we have not seen that, but we have also not lost the inverse head and shoulders potential. This could easily form into that final shoulder and lead to the breakout, at which point we may look at equities with sort of a cautionary bullish potential, if not short-term bearish, as a stronger dollar will put pressure on certain equities and commodities markets. So with that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Y'all have a safe and wonderful Thursday trading session. We'll look tomorrow and see how much volatility this market has to give. And hopefully we get a lot of nice price action as we're still in earnings season and the opportunities are still there for some bigger market moves as we see some of these earnings starting to come out even further. So thanks everybody. Talk to you all tomorrow and trade safe.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm hanging in there. I'm missing your beautiful face this morning. You got a problem with your camera?
Yeah, I took it off yesterday, and now I put the cable back in. It's not working. So go figure.
Makes
So my
sense.
my fault. I don't know what I messed up there. Either way, guys,
I
let's
just,
go
yeah,
ahead.
I want to, first of all, big hit that like button for Jared. Excellent job as always.
Yes.
Thank you guys yesterday, Thor, for covering me. Um, I got news that my brother-in-law had taken his own life the night before, about 15 minutes before the show started,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was a wreck. So, Thor, thank you, and thank you for all the support, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, our good vibes and prayers to you and your family, knowing during this time. We know that is, we can imagine. We can imagine. So, um, with that said, guys, thank you, everybody. See everybody in chat showing support. Thank you very much. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to open up my YouTube chat here. So let's do that so we can see our YouTube members. Just give me 1 second while I open that up here on a different screen. With that said, in the meantime, let's go over a little bit of the market. I know Jared has done an amazing job of giving us the latest and greatest. Norm, any updates as far as news announcements coming out throughout the day today?
Yeah, brother. So we just had jobless claims info. So initial claims came out pretty pretty well compared to what was expected. It was hang on 1 second. I had the number here and I'm missing it now. Um, Initial claims came out at 498,000 versus 540. Continuing claims are a little bit higher than expected, though. Productivity was higher than expected as well. So that kind of gave a little bit of a gyration to the SPY, not a whole lot, really. Then later, we have Fed speakers, a few of them scattered throughout the day. Yellen a few days ago, Treasury Secretary, predecessor to Jay Powell. She kind of spiked the markets 2 days ago, so we'll see if they have anything consequential to say that moves markets. Hello, Carlos.
Oh, here I'm talking. I'm muted. Sorry about
There
that.
we go.
There we go. All right, guys. Let's talk a little bit about the plays from yesterday here. Let me see. Got the YouTube chat going here as well. Let's make sure here. Pop this up. All right. Perfect. All right, excellent. So let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff we had yesterday. VREU, guys, let's get into this one. This is our watch list. And again, we had a lot that we could watch yesterday too, guys. There was a whole bunch of stuff on there, starting with VERU. Here, 5-minute chart. Let's get into that. And as you can see here, guys, again, just an amazing drop all day yesterday. Had a very strong pre-market action, and then just continued to drop. Now, I don't remember if we had short for this one. Again, there was some other stuff that was trading very well that we were looking at. So I don't recall if we had shorts for this one. But look at the drop here. It looked okay. It wasn't great, but a nice big drop yesterday. Uber as well was very, very active. Let's hop into this one as well. As you can see here, pre-market action, we know we had earnings before the bell. That's what was the madness. And we talked about this, right? Kind of wait it out. Let's see into it settles. And you can see how great of a short that came in after the market bell opened. So beautiful drop there as it lost the VWAP and some of these great levels. Going through some of them, we had the low of the pre-market, went right through that, and then some levels towards the bottom. These are the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days in here for off your daily. So that traded very well. As well. Here's OCGN, guys. OCGN, again, continues to be very, very active. I think it'll be on our list again today. It is down 12.2 with some amazing volume, 4.5 million shares traded. But you can see here just a beautiful pop. You could have played this both ways. You could have taken here a nice little pop here, opening range breakup on the 5-minute. You did get a little bit of continuation, and then just this was not a great drop. This was a nasty drop here. This is why you got to be careful with the chase. But then from there, guys, a beautiful short. And they're basically the entire day holding on to that 9 to that 20 and never really looking back there. VXRT was another one that was pretty weak. This one we've been watching quite a bit. You can see here, just loses it. Was not as clean as some of the other ones as far as volume. It was a little bit choppy with the volume, the way the volume was coming in. But out of that, still an amazing drop there as well. Here's AMD. AMD was a little bit all over the place. Was not the cleanest. It did get better later after 12 o'clock. You can see see here, this part I like. It cannot break above this moving average here. This was the 50, I believe, because again, it has all the moving averages are together because AMD, as we spoke about it yesterday, just kind of hopped around, just back and forth, a lot of consolidation a couple of days ago. Here, guys, beautiful drop towards the low of the day, and then a nice continuation as well. X continues to be very fun to trade. Does give you a beautiful engulfing pattern here right out of the open, and you can see here a beautiful pop and continuation above the VWAP. So this was a nice play. Did give it all back here later in the day. Does drop here, kind of shuffles around the VWAP, tries to go at it again, cannot break the high of the day for the second time. And then the drop comes in, and just look at this drop here. That was beautiful on X. X is definitely back in play, guys. Trading very clean the last couple of days. Here's Envis. Envis also nice, beautiful drop and recovery. It was okay though. I didn't really watch this one too closely. There was another one that Jonathan. What's the stock that Jonathan called out? It was actually, I took a screenshot of it because Jonathan called it out, and I believe Andrew, I know Andrew took a nice trade on this one. Was it ANXT? Yeah, that one was hot, guys. ANXT, TX. No, it was not that one. ATNX. Yes, this was the one here, guys. So again, this the power of the community, guys. I mean, this stock was called out right here by Jonathan. He saw a lot of volume, a lot of pressure towards the top side, ready to take off here. He called it out in the chat room. And what a beautiful trade it was. A couple of guys you did. You called it out, but Jonathan called it out first. Andrew took that trade, and it turned out amazing towards the top here. Just a beautiful pop there. So that is what we had yesterday, guys. Let's get into our watch list this morning. We'll go over our gappers list and see what we have here. Starting with, wow, a lot on both sides this morning, guys. This is packed. So let's get rid of this. And let's see what we have in play today. I get asked this question quite a bit, guys. So the way to delete everything, you highlight delete everything on the rows in Dash Trader Pro. You click on the first one, on the first field. You just hit space and enter. Right. Once you do that, the next thing all you want to do is now hit backspace, enter, and then that can give you brand new rows all the way down. Right. So instead of entering them manually, that's a quick, easy way to be able to do that. Let's start with gapping up today. We're just going to go over the top 5. So we definitely need the community's help to go through some of these at the bottom. If they look great, if they have volume, over 100,000 shares traded, we want to take a look at them. But let's start with our top 5 first on both ends. Here we have Home. Home is up 16.3, 65 million shares float. Looks like a buyout, possibly. Well, we had something going on yesterday. Nice pop. Well, it's not a buyout because we don't have a whole lot of volume, actually.
It's a rumored buyout.
Oh, it's a rumor buyout. So it's half a buyout. Okay.
Half a buyout.
So half a buyout here because I don't see quite the volume we usually get on that type of catalyst. So pretty dead right now. So I'm going to take that one off. Well, I'm not going to add that one. Next, let's look at JAN here. This one up 17.4, but also another one that does not have great volume, and they are a low flow at 1.6. So that is not great to see that. We want to see some good activity, some good volume on these lower flow stocks. NMRD. So NMRD, this one here, looking a little bit better as far as volume. Let's get our 5 minutes to the right area. Looking a little bit better as far as volume. So this could be a little more interesting. Daily, as we can see here, had a great breakout day yesterday. Let's take a look on how that traded. Couple of halts in here. So again, it's just a little bit of scarier side, as you can see there. It is a low flow stock at 8.8, but it looks good, guys. It looks good in play for a possible second day opportunity here. What I like about this one is that we're not gapping down today. We're actually gapping up again after a strong day. That could be very, very interesting. Could give us a nice little opportunity for a possible few scalping plays there. So we'll add that onto the list. Next, we have HIMX. This one, it is up 11.2, 426,000 shares traded. At the moment, their daily is not great. They do not get great volume. If you look at it down here as well, their volume literally below, for the most part, 2.93 million shares traded. That's why their daily doesn't look great. This pre-market action, 426. But if you look at this 426, right, we talk about this. Just look at how the candles are being formed. They're not great. You got a couple of candles here with some good volume, and then it dies out after that. So it could get better. It is not a low flow stock, but I'm just going to skip on it for now. 2 more. Let's do 2 more. AUPH. Not looking good. We've seen this one on our list before. It is a former runner. We've seen it take off nicely in the past. Not much going on right now. If it gets better, let's throw it back out to me. And then let's look at W. W this morning starting to take off. This is Wayfair, I believe. Yes, and they have pre-market earnings this morning. So we can see here they're starting to get going. Let's take a look at it. They're very, very difficult to trade though. So this is the only reason why I'm putting them as a possible. They
can really run.
Yeah. So just be careful with that. Look at the volume on this thing. This thing can move. What is this candle here? 336 to almost $40 candles, and we're doing that with only 6.4 million shares traded. So it tells you how much it moved. It tells you how wide the spread can be at times. So just be very careful, but they're definitely in play right now as earnings being released this morning. Let's see what's gapping down today. FSLY, we haven't seen this one in a while. Nice big gap down for them. I do like this, down 19%. They could be fun to trade. So let's add this one on here. FSLY is good for us there.
Earnings last night.
They did. All right, cool. So nice catalyst there.
Not if you're the CEO.
Oh, what happened to the CEO? He screwed up?
Well, I mean, they're down 20%. So you said, "Oh, cool," and I said, "Not if you're the CEO and your stock's down 20%."
Okay. All right. I thought I was gonna get some interesting, juicy story like we've been seeing out of these guys are just insane in what they're doing. But all right, yeah, no, you're not having fun if you're the CEO or in charge.
The
of the
CFO
finances.
is leaving as well as part of it too. So
yeah, he's not having a good time. So. Guys, pretty good catalyst here. Down nicely, 19.6. Definitely want to keep an eye on this one. Here's a RKT. Again, we talked about Rocket Mortgage, right? We talked about Rocket Mortgage. I thought this stock was going to trade a lot better. But again,
it did for a little while.
It did for a little bit, right? But it doesn't trade very well, guys. Look at the last couple of days. It's just really low volume. Doesn't move a whole lot. Today, they're down nicely, though, 13.7. So this could be fun, could be interesting.
They had earnings last night.
All right, earnings. So we'll put them on here. RKT. Pre-market does not look bad, guys. Let's just see how he's actually going to trade this morning. So RKT 1.4, 13.8 down this morning. That is good. OCGN has been on fire, guys. I'm going to continue to put this on here. Today they are down a 12.3, 4.6 million shares traded. So that's a good one for us to look at this morning. We lost this great level of support here. So let's see if we can get going. Did we lose that this morning or last night? Looks like a little bit last night. And then this morning, which is continuing that collapse here on OCGN. So great volume, great activity in the pre-market. The daily looks messy, but I do like the fact that we are losing this level here. Let's find some levels for that when we get there. RHE. Now this stock is, you got to be careful with this one, guys. We talked about this before. Is a 1.5 million shares flow. I saw a couple of trades here from you guys in the community. Also, Andrew took a couple of trades on this one yesterday. I just got to be careful. Notice how Andrew trades this thing, man. He's in and out really, really fast. And that's the way you have to do it with this one. Because again, it does move quite a bit. And it is a low flow stock sitting at a 1.5. So just very, very, very careful. Last one here, we'll do two more. BNTX, this one is dropping down here nicely, 11.4. This could be interesting. Couple of really bad days in here for BNTX. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this one. I'll put it as a possible for now. VXRT, this was let's remove some of these levels all over the place here. This one was hot. It was hot for a while. It's starting to lose it all now. It's starting to get back to where it started this run up. Actually, this kind of started over here with not a whole lot of volume. Here's when people started noticing or news broke out, and then the volume came in, and look at this beautiful takeoff. Volume is dying down now, so we'll see what happens here. At the moment, they're down 10%, 954,000 shares traded. Pre-market action is okay on this one, and we do have shares for short, so that could be interesting. VXRT, and we'll stop here, guys. So a whole lot in this list. Norm, anything you like that we might have not looked at yet?
Yeah, my favorite TV show when I was 9 or 10 years old.
Which one's that one?
Alf.
Oh man, that was a good one. Yes, that was a good one. This morning they are on fire, guys, up 46%, 6.7 million shares traded. Norm, any catalyst on this one that's making this move so good today?
It's a recent IPO. It's got a 3.8 million share float. So it's low float. It is trading pretty well, high volume for sure. So keep an eye on it and see if it does anything.
Yeah, it definitely is trading well, guys. Look at this beautiful pre-market action. We had another low flow here, which was January here, Jan. This one, you can see here how this is not great. It is a 1.6, but you're not getting the action you're getting like this. This is what you want to see. Look at the great volume, moving these candles around. creating some patterns. Let's get started here. Where is I'm gonna bring, you know what? Here's where I usually put my chat. I'm gonna put it here. Here's where I usually put it, and you guys can see it because my camera is there. But I'm gonna put it there, and we can see what the YouTube friends are saying here. So pretty nice. All right, so let's start over with our chat room, guys. This morning, who do we have? RT, Etsy. Let's see here. Etsy is down 8.2. Not an easy one to trade. I'm gonna assume earnings on Etsy. Yes, earnings last night. So this morning they're down 8.2, 288,000 shares traded. Again, another one of these stocks like a BNTX, like a Wayfair, that are just difficult to trade, guys. I'll put it down as a possible here. Twitter, no, sorry, missed one. mRNA slamming down. mRNA looks good today. Yeah, this is taking a bit of a hit here. Let's go with mRNA. Yeah, down 9% this morning. Couple of really bad days in here. I mean, I know the market has been dragging things down a little bit
this morning.
Oh, they had? Okay. They've been dragging things down a little bit with these type of drops, but man, not as much as this one is taking a hit. So earnings, another hit on earnings as well on mRNA. So I like the daily here on this one. We'll take a look at it. Guys, look how much this moves, right? This moves quite a bit. So you can see it right on this. So just be careful with that. Oh yeah, absolutely, guys. Norm does like 3 things at a time when he's on the show. He's blocking people on YouTube when they get out of hand, and he's doing all kinds of things. So yeah, guys wearing like 3-4 hats down there, so you can see him.
I can barely do it too, as people are posting memes of Alf and stuff. I mean, I did watch Alf as a kid. I liked the show. I forgot some of the things you guys are bringing back, and it's just making me die laugh. I can barely concentrate over here.
Excellent. All right, guys, let's continue here. So I lost my spot. I'm gonna start with William and Ted Piton. Let's start here. What do we have this morning? Nope, not that. There we go. All right, Piton today taking a huge hit yesterday. Today they are down 2.7, possible continuation. They're very extended on this daily, man. Look at the hit they've taken over since the beginning of the year. This has been slamming here, just getting a huge drop overall. But if you look at their bigger picture, they had such an amazing run last year, with things reopening up and gyms opening up. They might take a little bit of a hit here. All right, so Piton is good. Let's put that one on there. Heading on down, we have mRNA we looked at. That's on deck already. NKLA, let's take a look here. NKLA, I like the pre-market action right now. Looks like it wants to break out. 700,000 shares, up 5.5. It could be interesting. Maybe a possible, guys. Let's see if this gets better. If this breaks out of this, this could be nice. Their daily also getting a lot better. Go ahead.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it does. It does look interesting. That possible breakout coming up there. So I like that. They got great volume. We've seen them in the past. Hasn't been great. They had a breakout before here and then slammed down. Let's see if they can hold the support, get above that. So good one there. NKLA is good. mRNA, we have PFE. PFE also taking a bit of a hit. Again, slightly difficult to trade. I'm going to put it as a possible here. But I gotta say, I do like their pre-market action today. I do like their drop. They're barely holding on to this level of support right on there. 38, 36. This could be good. This could be good today. We do have shares for short. Let's see if today is the day where PFE can trade very well. ASO this morning, we're up 4.4, 600,000 shares traded. This is not the best day trading stock. We had this in the list before. Yesterday had a big day. Let's take a look at how that traded. As you can see here, it's not great. Not great. Maybe a possible at best. All right, and the only reason I'm doing that is because, again, the numbers look good, but we've seen how this trades in the past. But let's see, looking strong for a possible continuation today. Broke out this great area of resistance yesterday, right to the top of the most recent highs here, and now above that. So these are good, strong signs here if they continue on this trend, especially with the way the market has been dropping down. This thing is pushing up. That's a good signal. PFE we looked at, Plug and Uber. Let's take a look at those two. And 8:54 on time here. Plug is it's just continuing to take a bloodbath here. Plug losing 24, the last area of some possible resistance. And I do like Plug, so I'm going to add it on here because I do like the way they trade. They have 557,000, down 4.9. Let's take a look now at what's the other one? Uber and Lyft. I know both. Wow. Oh man. Uber. down another 4.6 on this, losing this 51.
Yeah, it's getting slammed.
Ho, ho, ho. Here, we got a level all the way down here. Let's see. Uber looks interesting this morning for sure. We're going to add that on there. It'll probably be on the main list, but I'm going to put it as a possible now just for space issues. We know Lyft also had not such a great day yesterday. They're not gapping down as much today. Actually, no, they're right there, 3.1. So, yeah, they're both taking a hit this morning. All right, guys, we'll have to stop here. We looked at Lyft, ASO, we looked at NKLA is good. PayPal, I don't like the way PayPal trades. It can be very choppy at times, so be careful with that one. I'm going to skip on that one. Piton, we have excellent. Etsy on deck. Alf on deck, moving nicely up 46%. So we'll keep a close eye on that one. All right, perfect. Let's go over on YouTube. What do we have, guys? Let's start with, take a few from here. Colton, you're giving us Viacom. What's going on there? I don't think these have not been trading well, guys. It's just been kind of just chopping around here. So be careful with them. I mean, they taken a big drop here over March, and from them they have not been trading all that well. They don't trade well to begin with. I think we have some fun here. I don't really think they're really in play today. They have great volume, so unless there's any kind of catalyst that can make this take off, maybe they're up 2.3. Is Billy said earnings play? All right, so that could be interesting. Yeah, that could be interesting, but I'm not a big fan of them. Don't worry, guys. This list is long, but we will chop this up pretty nice. PayPal, yeah, I don't like PayPal as much the way it trades. MITO, let's take a look at that one. MITO. Let's see here. MITO, this is up 61.7. This is more of a penny type stock, right? These stocks under $1. I mean, I know it's just dipped under $1 just a few days ago. I'm not really a fan of, so just be careful. What's the float on this, by the way? MITO. We're looking at 15.9, so on the lower side. Yeah, it looks active, guys. 11 million. It could be interesting. We have way too many. MITO. All right, let's head down here. What else do we have, guys? Plug, we have Uber, that's good. Thank you, Puppet Master. What else? Tesla, let's take a look at that. We got 3 minutes before we go into our community announcement. Tesla this morning, yeah, it's okay. It's got volume, just wrapping around itself around this previous day close. I'll tell you this much though, Tesla does look interesting here on this level, trying to hold this 670. If it breaks out towards the top, that could be nice. Let's take a look at NEO. NEO also similar daily. We're trying to hold on to this 37 as well. We'll have to see how these play out, but I'll look for these in our scanners. Their volume is a little bit lighter than usual at the moment, so that's what I'll do for those. All right, we'll stop here, guys. The rest, I think we looked at mRNA, we looked at Piton, we looked at SOS. I think we always look at this one. It doesn't look great, and it doesn't today neither, so we'll skip on that. All right, guys, let's head over to our community announcements. We'll come back and fine-tune the heck out of this list here.
Yeah, it's all over the place. All right, guys. So Eamon's success webinar is posted. Go check that out if you haven't for his parabolic reverses part 2.
Hold on a second. I think I have to actually, I downloaded it, but I got to load your new one. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
All right, I think there it is.
All right. Dr. Reed's webinar is, I believe it's posted as well. I saw an email this morning that was taken care of. So if you were unable to check that out last night, it is up for you. Then next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we changed that. We became nice and didn't do it at 5 a.m. any longer. Mike will be talking about handling the emotions of trading. Remember, trade of the day, trade of the week. If you want to participate in this, take a screenshot of the best trade of the day you made. Obviously, it should have entries and exits so we can actually see the trade. Then put any commentary you can on it to describe. There you go. There's Dr. Weed, Elon Musk over there with Joe Rogan. Posted on Twitter, tag at Bearable Traders, at MikeB_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use hashtags BBT Family. Day Trading and Stock Market will announce the winner each afternoon on Twitter, and then we will take all the trades of the day from that week, vote over the weekend, the team does, and announce the winner for the trade of the week the next Monday. If you're watching on YouTube, you can use the promo code PREMARKET24. That'll get you a discount off the intro membership, which is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. also gives you access to the onboarding classes that Carlos, Mike, Kyle do each Monday night live, 8 p.m. Eastern. And guys, so this info is firmed up now. Meet up for tomorrow night, 5:30 p.m. at Doc B's in the Domain in Austin. So check that out. Go see Andrew and have him buy you a drink. I was going to go, but I have issues here now, so I will be here with my wife and mother-in-law. Also, I meant to, so hope everybody has fun. If you guys, let me see here. I apologize. I'm looking at one thing. We just unveiled the new promo. It is not on here, but if 40% off annual Elite membership is Memorial 40 is the code. It's on the homepage if you go look at that. That is it.
All right, excellent, guys. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's fine tune this list here. I did get my camera up and running here now. All right, let's go through it, guys. We have a lot. So first, starting with mRNA this morning. This one, guys, moving very nice, beautiful drop today. So definitely want to see what's going on with this one this morning. It looks very, very good. Actually, let me scroll up. We have a lot more than what I thought. Let's scroll back all the way up here. Starting with FSLY, this one also moving very good, guys. Huge drop to them to them for today, 20%. So that's good. We'll keep an eye on that one. OCGN is really good, very active, has been for the last couple of days. VXRT, you know what? This is not looking as great. Looking at the first two, we might drop this one. Let's leave that there for now, but we might drop it. I like mRNA. Piton also looking very good, guys. A lot of red today. Almost our entire list is red. What happened to our gap down list here? What's going on? Is it live? Oh, there it is. It's back. Okay. So again, a lot of red on my watch list this morning. Piton looks good. NKLA is one that's looking to break out here. So this is looking very, very interesting right now. Great volume, and plug is also looking very good towards the downside. I think I'm going to move down VRTX, guys. I think this one out of the whole bunch might be one that's just okay. It's not great. So VXRT, excuse me, VXRT. We'll bring that one down there. So VXRT will remove from our main list, and now we have a nice little list up here this morning. All right, let's look at possibles. Let's start from the bottom. Viacom, I like this pre-market action. Does have potential. It's been hanging out here, consolidating for a very, very long time since what is this, end of March, right? Just consolidating after these big drops. Is it time to start heading north east here? Who knows? So it could be interesting. We'll keep an eye on this one. ASO, this one's moving nicely. PFE. I'm gonna take off PFE from the list. Let's take off this one. They tend not to trade all that great. Etsy's another one, guys, that's dropping down pretty nice today too. 8.4 down this morning, 384. The issue with this one is it tends to not trade as clean. So I'm gonna remove it just to make my list a little bit smaller. But just like yesterday, guys, I was mentioning earlier, if you missed it earlier on this morning, we have a community here to call out trades as well, right? We saw Jonathan call out an amazing trade of ANTX, which I took off my list. He saw something in it. We all looked at it. It became a beautiful trade after that, right? So sometimes you don't have to watch everything. Someone in the community can call something out if they see it, and we can tune into to see if we can take advantage of it as well. Wayfair, guys, Wayfair definitely in play. It is up 4.4 this morning after earnings today. I think they had earnings this morning as well. Pre-market earnings May 6 here. So yeah, you can watch this one. I'm going to take it off because again, it's one of these stocks that does not trade very clean, at least the way I like to trade. It can be very choppy at times. So I'll take that one out. Rocket Mortgage is looking good today. Normally I wouldn't keep this one on here, but I do like the pre-market action today. And they do have great volume this morning as well. BNTX also looking good. Also another one that you have to be very careful. If you look at these candles, guys, that candle right there is to $1.50, almost $2, right? It was what, 159 or something. So you want to make your money on the number of shares here. I mean, on the number of on the move, not the numbers of shares. You don't want to be taking 2,000 shares here because that's your regular size and you're down $4,000, right? So just be very careful with this one. But it is in play. A couple of really nice red days here after just an amazing run. Don't get me wrong, on the longer time frame, this thing is very strong, as you can see here. So getting a little bit of some serious red candles in here. So we'll see if this thing is going to hold and find out support anywhere on here, or if we're going to continue to drip here. Either way, be very careful. Here's Uber. Uber is definitely in play, guys. Taking a nice hit here, 4.7, 555. We'll leave that there, and then VXRT. So all right, I think we have a pretty decent list. Let's reduce the number of stuff we have here as far as low float. So ALF, we'll keep that one on there. That looks good. RHE was great yesterday. Well, not great, but there was a couple of good scalping opportunities. I'm going to remove it compared to ALF, and compared to, was it Mito or NMRD? NMRD, I think these two are looking pretty good. Mito here, it's okay. I think I like the first two better. I like these two better for the low flows of the day today. Excellent, guys. Let's get levels on our main list this morning, starting here with FSLY. High of the pre-market sitting all the way at 50. We'll note that down. There it is. Low of the pre-market sitting down at 46.06. So we'll throw a level there as well. Now, if we scroll to the left, we have a huge gap down here from 57 to 64. Let's go to the left, see what we have. When's the last time we were hanging out over here? It looks like 2020 back in May, June timeframe. So that 46 low of the pre-market right now, you can see the gray area of resistance and also some support towards the bottom of that. If we were to lose that, we have 42.55, and then all the way down here. This is a nice level too, guys. Look at how many touches you have on there. 31.10, tons of touches there as far as resistance and then support as well. Now towards the top, above this 50.01, which is our high of our pre-market. In between here, this is not a great level. You know, you only have 2 days touching that there, 53.74. So put a little bit less weight on that. So like a minor area of support and resistance, but it helps you get something between this huge gap you have here above the 50.01, right? Obviously, you want to look out for 51, 52, and 53, the whole dollar numbers. Pay attention to those, but this is a midpoint level we have here based on the daily when we go back there a little bit. So testing that 46.07 one more time. Is it going to hold, or are we going to collapse there? We'll wait and see. Let's get rid of some of these levels on OCGN, and by cleaning this chart up, we can see here 929. It's a good level there. Is that the low of the pre-market? No, I think the low of the pre-market is lower. But this level is still very good. You can see here we have a little bit of action happening around 930. So let's keep that level there as well. But the low of the pre-market down at a 910. Below that, we do have another level here at 870, and then here we have to really go down. I like this week here too, but probably around here 778. You have a lot more touches of resistance right around here, so I like that level better. So you're good towards the bottom. Towards the top, you have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, and I'm also just going to add this one level here, 998, around $10. That's all you really need. You can mark down the high of the pre-market that's very close to the previous day close, which is a great level, right? That previous day close, great area of support that we've been collapsing from now. Heading down to mRNA, guys, also in play today, very active. 147.15 is the low of the pre-market at the moment. Towards the bottom, let's see if we can find some good levels here with a lot of touches. This one is a good level. You can see there the resistance happening there, the support happening in a couple of days. Towards the bottom here, I'm trying to find something good with a lot of touches. I think this one here, 136.98, tons of touches here. Days opening and closing, bouncing off this 136.98. So that's a good one there. Towards the bottom, we have another level right over here at 130.92, tons of touches there as well. Look at the resistance once we bounce from this 117 on there. That can now become support if we do drop down this morning. We're getting a little bit of a bounce off this 147.15 right now. Between the 1 foot low of the pre-market and this level here, which is a good one too. This is the low from yesterday. You do have a couple of days right on here around 153.18. You have these two showing support, and you also have some resistance happening here as well, going back into March time frame, early March as well. So that's good for mRNA, guys. Looking good pre-market wise. Great volume this morning after 2 really red days here this week. Piton, guys, very active, also down 3.5. Low of the pre-market 79.36. Towards the top, let's start there first. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, guys, we pretty much cover there. The high of the pre-market is just slightly above the low from yesterday, but I won't put too much weight on this one here. I will put more weight on the low of the day yesterday, which is this one here. You can see the volume coming in. That is acting as resistance, and also the previous day close. But still put it on there. You know, 82 high of the pre-market, but just look out for the other two levels around it. Those seem to be better levels as far as touches. Now we got to go back to the left here, all the way back to 2020 September. Was the last time we were hanging around this area. From there, we've been on a beautiful run, as you can see here, and never really looked back. But now we're down back here. Some levels here we have 72.44. We'll mark that there, and then right in here we do also have 77.50. So two levels towards the bottom there in case this thing does decide to drop any further. But we're below this great area support in the past, slightly below that. Let's see if we can make our way back up, or if we're going to continue to slam down. When we dropped here on this day, that's exactly where we stopped. This previous day close, if you go back, we stopped because that was prior support right in this area here. So that's where you're getting that little bit of a stop there. All right, NKLA, guys, looking interesting as trying to break out of this pre-market high. I'm going to mark this down here, but also pay attention to this level here at 11. This is, if we look at the daily, this is going to be your high from yesterday, right? So pay attention to that level. You can see the resistance happening here. This is winding up pretty good. It looks like it wants to break out of this. So I'm looking forward to that and see how that's going to trade today. Overall, looking at the daily for levels towards the top, we do clearly have one here, 1171. Great area of resistance right on, excuse me, support here and here as well. So tons of support at that 1171, and above that, obviously, you got a very clean level here at 1250. Towards the bottom, if we were to lose this great area of support, the low for the last two trading days and your pre-market low this morning, this one here, minor level of support and resistance is 1004. But right here's where your level is at. This is the good one, 938. I don't think we'll get there the way this thing is trading right now. Up 6% with some good, decent volume. Here is Plug this morning. They are down nicely. Low of the pre-market, 22.90. Towards the top, guys, highs and lows from the last two trading days. The high of the pre-market at 23.88. So we can mark that there, but we got tons of resistance towards the top here on Plug. Towards the bottom, when was the last time we were here? Going back November, October time frame. So let's get some levels here, 21.97, and also down here 20.29. All right, good, very good. So our levels are set, guys. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup, see what's going on there. So we'll bring that up. Okay, I see we got a few on there. Let me resize this thing. Here we go. Come on, you could do it. Okay, there it is. So we'll resize this and bring this over so you guys can see what is going on. All right, perfect. All right, let's bring this over here. Here we go. You guys should be able to see that. Yes, you can. All right, so move this. Whoops, don't do that. Expand this a little bit. There it is. All right, so what do we have here? Let's start with IPO for today. We're looking at VALN. Watch list for Jared Tesla. He's looking at mRNA. What else we have? Secondary ALF, PFE, and Viacom. John is looking at PayPal, mRNA, and Futu. Eamon is looking at Apple, DKNG, PLTR, Baidu, Netflix, and QS. Mike is looking at mRNA and PayPal. No trading today, but if he was, that's the one he'd be looking for. Thor is looking at mRNA, Viacom, Neo, NKLA. Dima is looking at Neo, Plug, Apple, and NKLA as well. Again, NKLA, guys, looking really good today. As you can see, a lot of us have it on here. Tiffany's looking at mRNA, Plug, BNTX, and Brian looking at Etsy, NKLA, ALF, Mito, RKT, and also Viacom this morning. So pretty good list from everybody today, as you can see here. Oh, guys, Norm was talking about earlier, we are running a promo code. It is here in our main webpage, our homepage right over here, guys. So take a look at that. BearBootTraders.com. You get 40% off sale for Memorial Day on there. So take advantage of that, guys. Also, reminder, we didn't talk about this one, but if we come out here to our website, you can see our webinars, guys, especially for our members too. You can see what's coming up. And we do have Andrew next week. So every Monday, you guys know this already. Me and Kyle, we're doing the webinars there. But on Tuesday, next Tuesday, we have Andrew. He's doing Come Into My Trading Room, a detailed guide into trading and strategy and of a psychology scalper. So don't miss that, guys. It's going to be a good one. That's going to be next week, Tuesday, for our success webinar. So looking forward to that. All right, with that said, guys, I think we are all pretty much good to go. Peter's coming out with his list: AMD, mRNA, Viacom, RKT, W, OCGN, and ALF as well on his list this morning. So, all right, I think we're looking pretty good. And I think we are all set, guys. So thank you very much for joining us on YouTube, guys. 9:15. We're gonna come on now with Brian on the mic, going over what he likes this morning, and also trading live with us, Andrew as well. So take care, guys, over on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. We know you guys have options, but we appreciate you guys spending the time with our community here, Jared, Norm, and myself. So make sure you hit that thumbs up. And you also subscribe if it's your first time here. Take care, guys. We'll see you tomorrow to end the week. So have a happy Thursday. Take care, guys.